extortion-related shootings.
Please know that this is public safety priority number one for the Calgary Police Service.
Officers have upped their neighborhood presence, but the threats persist. Plus, thousands of Canadians trapped in Puerto Vallarta.
They've really told us just to hunker down, stay inside, it's still not safe.
A wave of cartel violence engulfs the tourist mecca.
There was burnt buses and cars and stores that had been firebombed.
And cracking down on distractions.
Hi, sir. You can't be on your cell phone while you're driving.
Calgary police target those losing focus behind the wheel.
CTV Calgary, local breaking news with Tara Nelson.
Hello and thank you for joining us. We begin with breaking news tonight. Calgary police are investigating two more shootings that happened less than 24 hours apart and just a few blocks away from each other. In both cases, a series of shots were fired at a house, and they are believed to be part of a targeted effort to extort money from members of the South Asian community. Calgary police say they are aware of this video circulating on social media, which the poster claims is one of the shootings in Saddle Ridge along Savannah Park, where a home is peppered with bullets. Investigators have yet to publicly verify it. Camilla DiGiuseppe joins us now. Camilla, police confirmed that they were aware that one of the victims was being targeted.
Tara, police say they received several complaints from one of the victims earlier this month alleging they were being targeted, and within days a gunman opened fire on their home. The most recent shooting happened just after midnight today. Several bullet holes can be seen in this home on Savannah Park Northeast, and it looks a lot like the home that took gunfire in that video we just showed you. Police say it was a lone gunman who then fled on foot. Then at around 2:45 Sunday morning, two suspects approached a home on Saddle Ridge Drive, opened fire on a residence, and fled in a white sedan. Police say large quantities of cash were demanded by the criminals and that there's a period of time before any retribution is carried out if those demands are not met. CPS is now investigating 28 extortion-related cases. That's up from 21 from when a town hall was held earlier this month. And despite the rise in incidents, police say since meeting with community members, they're seeing a rise in tips and reporting and are committed to getting to the bottom of these crimes.
Please know that this is public safety priority number one for the Calgary Police Service, and so we will dedicate as much resources and as time as is required to identify, dismantle these organized crime groups and to hold the offenders accountable.
Tara, we now know that there were no injuries reported in these latest shootings. Police are not saying it's not clear if the suspects involved were the ones in both of those incidents.
Okay, Camilla, thank you. A wave of retaliatory violence has gripped Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, after the killing of cartel kingpin El Mencho by military forces. Global Affairs is telling Canadians in Mexico to exercise a high degree of caution. The violence has disrupted airline schedules and stranded many Calgarians. Jacqueline Wilson is covering the story for us. So, Jackie, what's the latest from the airport tonight?
Yes, sir. So many popular airlines here suspended flights in and out of Puerto Vallarta. That was on Sunday and today. And that included WestJet and Air Canada. But now we are hearing that after a day of kind of calm and stabilization, Air Transat, they will be resuming their flights as of tomorrow, and very likely other airlines will do so as well. Violence erupted on Sunday in Puerto Vallarta after a government military operation killed one of the country's most powerful drug cartel bosses, known as El Mencho.
The cartels are still making their stand against government and trying to make people uneasy, and that's working. People are uneasy, obviously.
Canadian tourists have been told to shelter in place, including Calgarian Geraldine Vanderveen, who was on her way to church as the chaos started.
As we're driving, we see all these pillars of black smoke around us. And then we thought, this does not feel right.
Former CTV journalist Don Martin was on a whale watching tour and recalls the walk home from the docks.
Weaving through the carnage, there was burnt buses and cars and stores that had been firebombed. The streets were like an apocalypse, empty. There was no one out there.
Foreign Affairs Minister Anita Anand says her government wasn't warned about the military operations, but her Mexican counterpart expects the situation to normalize in the coming days.
All Canadians in affected regions should heed the direction of local authorities and travel only when it is safe to do so. All Canadians traveling or living abroad are strongly encouraged to register with Global Affairs in order to receive timely updates and information about the ongoing situation and travel advice.
Already over 26,000 Canadians have registered with Global Affairs, many eagerly awaiting an update, but for now, Sunday's violence and unrest seems to have calmed.
The roads are still eerily quiet. We're seeing a few more cars drive now, a few more people walk, but they've really told us just to hunker down, stay inside. It's still not safe.
Today, things are seem to be pretty calm. There's some cars going by. One little store is open next to us that literally had a lineup around the block to get some essentials, but everything else seems to still be in lockdown.
Now, as flights resume, airlines are reminding people to check their flight status in both countries, Canada and Mexico, before they head to the airport. And this is because Global Affairs Canada is asking Canadians to exercise a high degree of caution. Tara, back to you.
Jackie, thank you. Last week, we told you the Premier was setting the stage for a large deficit to be announced this week. Today, she was touting a big increase in spending that will also be in that budget. As Kevin Green reports, the Premier admits healthcare is a problem, and she thinks more money is the solution.
Monday, the Premier and her Health Minister announced Alberta will be spending $7.7 billion in the coming year to pay, recruit and train doctors.
That's a $1.4 billion increase, or a 22% increase over last year.
Doctors say the problem runs deeper than just money.
Frontline staff, frankly, in Alberta are not engaged and involved in the very system that they are experts in running. It doesn't address those issues of demoralized staff and patient flow issues.
Albertans are suffering.
The Premier admits there's still more work to do, especially in figuring out which kind of doctors the province needs to attract.
Part of that is going to be looking at where we are relative to the number of specialists in other large provinces, and whether there are some that we need to do more attraction for and others where we're doing just fine.
The province says there are over 13,000 physicians registered in Alberta, claiming a 34% increase over the past decade. But that number includes physicians who are working part-time and some who have retired.
How many are working in Alberta? Registrations only tell one piece of the story. How many are working? What kind of physician are they? Where are they working?
Calgarians we spoke to aren't sure the extra money will turn into extra doctors.
Money's a good start, but I think the province under the current government hasn't put a welcome mat out for the medical profession in general.
Money helps, but living environment, social programs, structures, openness needs to exist as well.
Opposition leader Naheed Nenshi is blunt. He doesn't buy the province's numbers and he doesn't buy their plan.
I have zero confidence that they will be able to fix the situation when people don't want to work in the Alberta healthcare system because it's in such chaos.
Kevin joins us now. Kevin, this will all be part of the upcoming budget.
Tara, it will. And the Premier's made no bones about saying this is going to be a tough budget with a big deficit. So how this big increase in spending, $1.7 billion more in spending, will fit into that remains to be seen. And what remains to be seen whether it means there'll be cutbacks in other areas. We'll find that out on Thursday when the province releases its budget.
Okay, Kevin, thank you.
You're watching CTV News, Calgary.
Transit users who pass through a Southwest Calgary C train station can now enjoy a fresh cup of coffee on their commute. Dobre Cafe is open at the southeast corner of the Westbrook C train station. It offers hot drinks, smoothies, pastries, and sandwiches. Even the mayor dropped by for a hazelnut latte today. The storefront had been empty since the pandemic. The cafe is part of the city's plan to make stations more welcoming and convenient for Calgarians.
Well, what we did in the past is we had kind of the same vendor at every station. And as you've noticed with our first two storefronts, we haven't done that. We aren't going to put all our eggs in one basket, so to speak. We wanted to try again because Calgarians are asking for it. We see it in surveys, we're seeing it in reports, we're seeing it in social media, that they want to see these places be alive and vibrant and not just places to wait for a train or a bus.
Doughboy Cafe has a 3-year lease at the Westbrook location. In October, Calgary Transit opened an Inns Market location at the Bridgeland LRT station. Well, let's bring Danielle in now. It was still a pretty chilly weekend, but it's getting better.
We're still on the cold side in Calgary specifically, as you can see here. With the wind chill in the city, it feels more like -16. But check out south of the city, above freezing. Claresholm, Pincher Creek, Lethbridge, even Medicine Hat got well above the freezing mark for today, just declining now as the sun starts to set. When you look at those next 24 hours, we will get there in the city tomorrow, just above freezing. But keep in mind, cool to start in the morning with a wind chill closer to -24. So layers are important. And then in the afternoon, lots of sunshine and a high of +2. Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. Calgary police are cracking down on distracted driving. We join officers for a ride along during their month-long blitz. We'll see what people were caught doing behind the wheel. Plus, a new study calculates the financial cost of domestic violence by men here in Calgary. Some drivers on their phone, some doing their makeup, some even reading while driving. The Calgary Police Service is targeting those bad habits and many more, which can be deadly behind the wheel. Tyler Barrow tagged along for a Distracted Driving Month crackdown.
Hi, sir. You can't be on your cell phone while you're driving. So you're going to pull over here to the right lane.
Just like that, a $300 ticket and a loss of 3 demerit points for distracted driving.
You're not paying attention to what's going on in front of you here.
Members of Calgary Police Service's traffic unit targeted distracted drivers outside the Calgary Court Centre. The location was chosen after observing problem drivers in the area.
Now, the ticket you're receiving today is for driving on a vehicle on a highway while holding, viewing, or manipulating a cellular telephone. He had his cell phone on his lap, which had a GPS app open, and he was trying to manipulate the GPS to change where he was going.
February marks Distracted Driving Month. CPS is watching for drivers using handheld electronic devices, entering information into a GPS unit, reading printed material, along with personal grooming.
We're trying to make sure that people pay more attention to what's on the road so we can reduce the collisions with pedestrians and with other drivers.
Between 2 locations Monday morning, 16 tickets were handed out along with 4 warnings.
The original reason I stopped today was being on your cell phone and not wearing a seatbelt.
Some have excuses.
She says she's new to Calgary, originally from Edmonton, but laws for distracted driving, seatbelts are all the same in Alberta.
No, not using the phone there either.
And they are not just watching on foot. When CPS members are behind the wheel, they are also keeping a keen eye on drivers not paying attention.
Oh, that person was manipulating their... Using your phone at the light? You can't do that, okay?
This person got off with a warning. Others won't be as fortunate as CPS targets distracted drivers over the next week. Tyler Barrow, CTV News, Calgary.
People might be getting the message. In 2025, Calgary Police issued 1,850 distracted driving tickets. That's down from more than 2,100 in 2024. Domestic violence by men in Calgary costs about $58 million a year. That's what a new report by researchers at the University of Calgary has found. Those costs include policing, justice system, and victim-related expenses. 90% of those costs were funded by taxpayers, 10% paid directly by victims. The report's authors say intervening earlier will not only save lives, but a lot of money.
Prevention is possible. I know it, I see it, I work with it every day, my team sees it every day. And as this report shows, it's fiscally responsible.
It's usually cheaper to run a program that's effective than it is to, like Kim was pointing out, by not doing these things, the cost just keeps growing. It just keeps getting larger and larger.
The report says directing men to behavior change programs could reduce domestic violence by up to 40%, saving $18.5 million a year.
This is CTV News, Calgary.
Almost the entire U.S. East Coast is getting hammered by a massive winter storm. The The winter storm warning stretched from northern Maine all the way down to North Carolina. Parts of the country have been buried by over half a meter of snow. More than 5,000 flights have been canceled, and hundreds of thousands of people are without power tonight. Now, this time-lapse footage shows the Empire State Building entirely engulfed in snowfall. In New York City, all non-essential travel was banned this morning. Yikes, that's nasty looking. We're getting snow, but not like that.
We are not that much, but we have a big significant amount that will arrive later this week. Enough to shovel. Absolutely. This first little wave that we're getting this evening in many communities, that's nothing. That's just a non-significant light little dusting in some isolated spots. I'll show you that on the radar in just a second. First, let's talk temperature. This is interesting, and it's not really the wind speed to look at on this map. It's really the direction. You can see out of the southwest, gusts out of the southwest for Medicine Hat, Lethbridge in through Pincher Creek, for Calgary and Brooks out of the northeast and the north, and that really reflects in the temperature. This is a look at daytime highs today. Calgary got up to -9, Brooks -8, again with those winds out of the northeast and the north. And then further to the south, where gusts were out of the southwest and we got a push of air from the south, we were well above freezing. Medicine Hat got to 8 today. Lethbridge got to 6, Pincher Creek got up to 5, Milk River 7, so we certainly saw some warm temperatures in the far south, not quite in Calgary. That will arrive tomorrow afternoon though, so we will bounce our way up. -16 is what it feels like right now with the wind chill in the city. We don't have wind chill in this corner here because we're not below freezing yet. And Medicine Hat has dipped to -3, so with the wind chill feels more like -9. Looking at the radar and satellite, it looks like a lot right now. Stateside, you have some moisture coming from BC here. Although this will not be a significant for us, one for us in southern Alberta. We're not going to see a lot of moisture with this one. We will later this week from another system, but not from this. Just some isolated pockets, as you can see, and that will last till about the midnight hour. And then even east of the QE2, there's still the potential of seeing a couple isolated flurries around 2 a.m. That will mainly be out by about 6 a.m. though. And then this sets us up for all sunshine tomorrow and warmer temperatures as well. Wind directions will be from all over the place, so it doesn't look like we're going to get really warm tomorrow in the city, but above freezing. So 2 degrees is our high in the afternoon. Keep in mind, cold to start with a wind chill of -24. And then we get warmer each day for the next few days. Wednesday up to 7, Thursday up to 8 degrees. It's Thursday night a system rolls in, and that system will not only bring in a cooler air mass, but will also bring in a significant snowfall. So 3 to 5 centimeters possible Thursday night and on Friday. And again, these are preliminary amounts, and I will continue to keep you posted as we get closer. But on Friday, we're looking at about 5 to 10 centimeters of snow with a high of -7. That's your Action Furnace 5-day forecast.
An arts centre for people with disabilities can now break ground after a major donation. Philanthropists Dr. Peter and Stephanie Chung are behind the major donation to the National Access Arts Centre. The organization has been fundraising to build an accessible arts learning centre through a $25 million capital plan. As part of the donation, the future performing arts learning venue will be named the Joseph Chung Centre for Creativity in honour of the Chung's son, who passed away after living with autism and epilepsy.
Although he's not here, he's not the beneficiary, but we wanted to have all the people with the disabilities enjoy this center, a legacy of my son Joseph.
With the donation, the Arts Centre says they can now commit to putting shovels in the ground. The Arts Centre has been hoping to build its new facility for the spring or early summer of 2027. A show of support for Alberta to remain put. Calgarians show their Alberta pride and opposition to the separatist movement. Plus, why Health Canada is pushing pause on health coverage for an expensive new drug that can slow Alzheimer's disease. At least 2 more recall petitions against Alberta politicians have failed. The petitioner targeting Alberta's Indigenous Relations Minister Rajan Sawhney says the campaign gathered roughly 3,400 signatures. They needed 15,000. The campaign against Advanced Education Minister Miles McDougall also fell short after collecting roughly 25% of what was needed. So far, none of the recall petitions against MLAs have succeeded. Today marks the end of the 90-day threshold to collect signatures for a petition to recall the Minister of Affordability and Utilities, Nathan Neudorf. But it's unclear if anyone who actually wanted to sign it was able to. 3 months ago, Ryan Tanner submitted an application for a citizen's petition to recall the Lethbridge East MLA. But since then, it appears Tanner has made little to no effort to actually collect signatures. CTV has been unable to contact Tanner despite attempts over several months. Speculation has ranged from an attempt to sabotage a legitimate petition to Neudorf himself being involved. There's no proof to the rumors, and Neudorf has denied the allegations, saying, "I remain steadfast in my commitment to serve every constituent, including those who have had concerns or felt unheard."
Well, it definitely has been somewhat frustrating, I would say, because although legally there was a petition put out by Ryan Tanner and some alleged accomplices, it went nowhere as far as we know.
The Recall Act does not require a petitioner to actually collect signatures. The petition did require more than 13,000 signatures, though, to move ahead. Results will be published within the next 28 days. People rallied in response to the province's separatist movement this weekend. Alberta is Canada rallies were held in Calgary, Edmonton, and Medicine Hat on Saturday. Organizers call it a grassroots movement pushing back against separatists. They say they have a message for the Premier.
She needs to understand, along with others, that this is going to be a very difficult and complex road to go down. The treaties play a real vital role here, and it's the treaties that are at the main forefront of this.
The queer community is an integral part of Alberta and Canada, and we will fight tooth and nail to maintain our sovereignty within Canada.
Those spearheading the separatist movement have until May 2nd to gather the signatures for a referendum. The Premier has said if they meet the threshold, their question will be added to the October ballot. A new survey is giving insight as to how the rest of Canada feels about the Alberta separation debate. The survey by Angus Reid shows if it were possible, 79% of Canadians would block Alberta from separating. While Canadians don't have a vote, a constitutional amendment for provincial separation would need the approval of at least 7 provinces, representing 50% of the population. 1/4 of Canadians believe Alberta's provincial economy would improve with separation. 61% think it would have a negative impact. Nearly half of respondents also believe the U.S. would use economic or political means to compel Alberta to join the U.S. A controversial drug to slow the progression of Alzheimer's is now facing delays in Canada. CTV's Pauline Chan has reaction to the decision.
Lecanemab, also known as Leqembi, is already being used in dozens of countries, including the U.S. It was approved last fall by Health Canada for use in early-stage patients, but the next step on the road to access has hit a roadblock. In a draft, Canada's drug agency is recommending lecanemab not be covered by provincial drug plans.
While there's variability among physicians and experts, I have to say I wasn't satisfied. I think that the rejection of this drug sort of closes the door on what would be really a first step.
Dr. Howard Chertko is a senior scientist at Baycrest Health Sciences.
There have been a couple of medications released in the United States and around the world that get rid of amyloid. Amyloid is a protein that accumulates in the brain, and we see this almost always in people with Alzheimer's disease. Getting rid of the amyloid doesn't cure the disease, but seems to slow down the disease, at least in some patients.
And he admits in his own research, some patients improve, some don't. The drug agency decision indicates that while the medication can be used in Canada, it's seeking more definitive evidence before Leqembi is paid for by provincial drug formularies.
They sort of defined what they accepted as being clinically meaningful based on statistics and statistical numbers, rather than looking at individual responses of patients.
Lecanemab costs around $30,000 US per year. It's given by injection, and patients must be closely monitored. Quebec's drug agency counterpart has also rejected coverage. Canada's drug agency will still be receiving feedback until March 5th, when its final decision will be made. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
We are getting a glimpse into the big party planned when Calgary hosts this year's Grey Cup Festival. It comes with upgrades to McMahon Stadium, 3 new youth football fields, and a big economic boost. Canadian Football League's biggest party is set to roll into Calgary later this year. The Grey Cup Festival will take over Stampede Park ahead of the big game, and the A.G. McMahon Stadium will even see some upgrades before players hit the field. Jordan Canigan has details.
The Grey Cup is coming to Calgary for the 6th time, and it's bringing a big celebration with it.
It gives us a chance to showcase the city of Calgary and everything that we've built over the last 100+ years.
A week-long Grey Cup Festival will take place at Stampede Park with concerts and events slated for the new BMO Centre and Big Four Roadhouse.
Success is new football fans. We're trying to build that next generation of fan, and that's one of the focuses of the festival as well, so that we can get people engaged to support the Canadian Football League.
It'll bring about 350,000 people and a $50 million economic boost to the city. It'll also bring attention to a stadium badly needing an upgrade.
I think we're all very aware that there are some challenges with the McMahon Stadium, and this certainly highlights that.
But McMahon will see some small upgrades ahead of the big game.
We are building suites in the north end zone, so we will have 14 more additional suites than we would normally have. The concourses will be built out into the parking lot to create more space for food and beverage and more access, and to make it a safer spot. So there will be a lot of fundamental changes to the stadium.
Still, the provincial government acknowledges it needs more. Either the 66-year-old stadium needs a major refresh or a replacement.
In fact, we struck a committee that I'll be chairing to actually raise all this older sport infrastructure that needs and the dire needs of support or rebuild or renovations, right? But we need federal support as well to fix our infrastructure in the province.
Calgary will host the 113th Grey Cup on November 15th. Jordan Canigan, CTV News, Calgary.
The Calgary Stampeders Foundation is also donating $500,000 to build 3 youth football fields. Tickets for the Grey Cup go on sale May 4th. All right, we're going to start trending this week with a little bit of magic.
Ooh, I like
and
magic.
A whole lot of cuteness.
1, 2, 3.
That is little Olive experiencing her first magic trick. She just witnessed her big brother totally disappearing in front of her eyes.
Oh my gosh,
she is very sweet.
I feel like all kids do some sort of disappearing thing, and they're all hilarious.
Yes.
And cute.
It's always magical. Well, when it comes to reminding people to stay hydrated, which is important, this guy is the GOAT. This is Levi, the Boer goat, and he loves reminding people you got to keep drinking water. His slurping videos are so popular that the Oregon sanctuary where he lives regularly posts them online.
Really?
People ask for these videos of him drinking water.
I guess because he's just so cool about it.
So chill about it. They like the noise, little goat therapy. I don't know. I don't know. Well, finally, a major conservation effort is bringing some life back to an island. Okay, so after more than 150 years, these giant tortoises are back where they belong. Ecuador released 158 of the animals onto Floriana Island. That's part of the Galapagos. Whalers and the introduction of new species wiped out the giant tortoise population in the mid-19th century. So each of these tortoises was specially bred for a return to the island. And scientists say these creatures will play an important role in the ecosystem because they'll help regenerate all the natural habitats.
Well, look at that whole big wonderful team helping our world. Yeah.
158 of them have been released.
Wow.
Where you go, guys. Repopulate. It's all yours. The island is yours. President Donald Trump says despite the Supreme Court ruling, he is forging ahead with his tariff plans. So what does that mean for Canada and the rest of the world? We'll take a look next.
Here's your Skywatch weather camera. Oh my goodness, what a beautiful shot. The city, the lights. It's been a nice day. We're still absolutely on the colder side. Currently at -11 and our high was only -9. Normal is +1 for this time of year. We are at 10 hours and 32 minutes of daylight, and we're going to have lots of sunshine for tomorrow to capitalize on this. So that's some good news. Plus, we'll get above freezing for tomorrow. Speaking of communities that got above freezing today, Claresholm, Pincher Creek, Lethbridge still above freezing at this time. Medicine Hat got up to 8 earlier today. Now with the wind chill, feels more like -9, and we're in the minus double digits with that wind chill in Calgary. There are some isolated pockets of flurries. These are short-lived. These are very isolated, but don't be surprised anywhere in southern Alberta to see a few flurries out there for the evening hours, clearing out in the overnight hours. For the morning tomorrow, keep in mind it will be cold to start. -24 is what it will feel like with the wind chill, so you'll need the big coat. But then you can remove some of those layers, because in the afternoon, with that sunshine and the winds at times out of the west, we'll get up to a high of 2. That's your 24-hour forecast, brought to you by Action Furnace. Fixed right or it's free. All right, tomorrow in Salmon Arm and Kelowna, 7 degrees. Edmonton looking at a high of -2, same as Rocky Mountain House. Red Deer -5. Below freezing in Drumheller, -3. And Calgary down through High River, Banff, Jasper getting just above that freezing mark tomorrow. Lethbridge, 4 degrees for tomorrow. Medicine Hat will dip a little bit tomorrow, looking at a high of -1, Tara.
Thank you, Danielle. Calgary police are investigating 2 more shootings believed to be extortion-related. Police say they are aware of this social media video purporting to show shots being fired at one home in Saddle Ridge. Another home nearby was also shot at. Calgarians in Puerto Vallarta witnessed scenes of carnage when drug cartel members lit fires throughout the city yesterday. The situation has calmed a bit, and some flights there will resume tomorrow. And Premier Daniel Smith announced an increase of $1.4 billion in physician recruitment, training and compensation. But critics say the real problem is a chaotic overhaul of the healthcare system. Countries around the world are pushing back against new threats from the White House after the U.S. Supreme Court ruled most of Donald Trump's tariffs were illegal. CTV senior correspondent Judy Trinh has the latest.
My fellow Americans, this is Liberation Day.
Donald Trump's use of emergency economic powers to impose tariffs has been shackled by the Supreme Court, but the White House says it will use other tools to get what it wants.
The administration remains undeterred in reshoring American factories and getting rid of these massive trade imbalances.
Trump says he'll impose new 15% global tariffs to replace the ones deemed illegal. On social media, Trump warned against playing games and threatened much higher tariffs if countries back out of trade deals. But the European Union may not ratify the agreement it signed with Trump last year.
A deal is a deal. Both sides have agreed to and indeed have a duty to honour their part of the agreement we made with the US.
In the past year, Trump's tariffs have brought in more than 240 billion Canadian dollars.
He needs to return that money, needs to refund that money with interest. He can do that in a nanosecond.
The Supreme Court decision does not apply to tariffs that are devastating Canadian steel, aluminum, automobiles, and softwood lumber. But in the past few weeks, some Republican representatives have voted against Trump's tariffs on Canada. Ontario's premier seized the moment to highlight the shifting support.
We saw what happened in Congress. We saw what happened in the Supreme Court. The walls are closing in, I believe, on President Trump right now.
Because of CUSMA, Canadian companies will mostly be exempt from Donald Trump's latest tariff threat. The Prime Minister has yet to comment on Trump's newest threats, but he is preparing for an overseas trip. He's headed to India, Japan, and Australia later this week to promote trade. Judy Trinh, CTV News, Ottawa.
Stocks fell and bonds rose once again as investors weigh that tariff uncertainty. BNN Bloomberg's Lindsay Biscaya has the latest.
The EU says it is seeking clarity from the White House after Donald Trump increased his global tariff threat to 15%. The move comes after the Supreme Court blocked parts of President Donald Trump's trade agenda last week. The European Commission says the U.S. needs to honor its tariff deal with the EU, adding that sudden, unpredictable levies disrupt markets and supply chains. Today, the S&P 500 finished the day down more than a percentage point, and European stocks fell 0.5%. And here are the closing numbers for the day. The Canadian dollar closed a cent lower, finishing at 72.99. West Texas Intermediate dropped to 66.49. Western Canadian Select was up 33 cents to end the day, and the TSX finished the day lower at 33,776. Those are your business headlines. I'm Lindsay Biscaya.
Loblaw says it's planning to open 70 new stores this year and create around 9,700 jobs across Canada. The company says it plans to spend $2.4 billion in 2026 to expand and renovate its stores, enhance its supply chain capabilities, and create jobs from coast to coast. The new stores include 34 Shoppers Drug Marts, pharma pre-pharmacies, and care clinics, along with 31 No Frills and Maxi stores. The grocery giant will also renovate 191 of its existing stores. Loblaw says this is part of a 5-year plan to spend $10 billion by 2030. Today marks the first day to file 2025 income tax and benefit returns online. Most taxpayers have until April 30th, but the deadline for self-employed individuals or those with a self-employed spouse is June 15th. The Canada Revenue Agency says taxpayers should have an easier time this year after streamlining its website and hiring more call center workers. The CRA was criticized last year for long wait times. As Canada tightens enforcement on vaping, a new federal report reveals a high rate of non-compliance. Nearly half of specialty vape stores inspected were found to be breaking the rules. Kathy Lee reports.
Bright lights, clean counters, strict rules on display.
20 mil?
For more than a decade, manager Hein Nago says this vape business was built on operating above board.
If you want to be compliant, it's very simple. Buy from the distributors that has been authorized by Health Canada.
But a new federal report suggests not every store operates the same way. Health Canada inspected more than 500 specialty vape shops nationwide and found 43% were breaking the rules, most often over promotion of prohibited flavors, testimonials or endorsements, packaging that did not have the required health warnings or showed nicotine levels above the legal limit of 20 milligrams per milliliter. Public health advocates warn those violations can make vaping more appealing, especially to teens.
Among high school students in grade 12 across Canada, 27% are vaping. That's way too high.
By comparison, the Health Canada data also shows less than 1% of gas and convenience stores inspected were found non-compliant when it came to vaping products. Researchers say specialty shops often stock a broader range of products, including imports, which can make oversight harder.
The importers, the retailers themselves, and the manufacturers are all supposed to have, the responsibility to comply with Canadian regulations. And all of them, I think, in some ways are struggling with that.
Nago worries the report unfairly paints rule followers like him, and the answer is better enforcement.
If you were to be more strict, have more inspectors going around, making sure, and take complaints from resellers, retailers seriously.
Last month, Ottawa raised fines to up to $3,000 and expanded on-the-spot ticketing as health advocates push for a nationwide ban on flavored vapes, saying patchwork rules make enforcement harder. Kathy Lee, CTV News, Calgary.
A Northwest Calgary park has been named in honor of Violet King. King was born in 1929, and she was Canada's first black female lawyer. She was also the first black Canadian to obtain a law degree in Alberta and the first black person admitted to the Alberta bar. The green space located across the street from her family home on 7th Avenue Northwest now bears her name.
It represents legacy, it represents our opportunities, it represents visibility, it represents a lot for us, knowing that somebody many years ago kind of paved this path forward for us.
So the park was something that she and her family would have looked at from their living room window every day, walked by it every day, played in it, maybe utilized it in some way.
King died in 1982 in New York. The Olympic Games are over and the NHL gets going again this week. Glenn catches up with some of the Flames who are meeting with fans tonight. That's next. If you have a news tip, text us at 10400. Just days after NASA announced the return to the moon was go for launch, the highly anticipated trip, which will include one Canadian, has been delayed again. The space agency says the Artemis 2 mission will be grounded until at least April. Last week, a critical fuel test was completed successfully, setting up the March launch. However, the helium system malfunctioned, and now the rocket is headed back to the hangar for repairs. Once the mission is ready, Canadian Jeremy Hansen, along with 3 American astronauts, will embark on the journey around the moon. It's designed to pave the way for a future moon landing. Astronomers say they have solved a space mystery. They have figured out how Saturn's largest moon, called Titan, came to be. Researchers believe that about 500 million years ago, a lost moon collided with Titan and became part of it. The collision could also have led to the formation of Saturn's beautiful rings, hundreds of millions of years later. The Calgary Flames hit the road for 3 games this week. Glenn Campbell joins us live from Crossiron Mills tonight. And Glenn, the whole team is there this evening.
Tara, stations like this are set up throughout Crossiron Mills. At this one, we've got Joel Hanley, Sam Honzik, and Zach Whitecloud. It's a chance for fans to get to know their heroes a little bit better and get an autograph. The Flames got a little break from the ice late Monday afternoon to have a little one-on-one time with their fans. They were at Crossiron Mills to sign autographs.
I mean, it's awesome, right? I've never done an event like this as a team signing, so it's great to see the fans come out and obviously support us. The best thing is I love seeing kids wear it and giving them a little signature, because you were that kid one day hoping to get your jersey signed, so awesome to be able to give that to them.
And this is the first time the full team has come out for an autograph session in some time, so it's really exciting for us and exciting for the Flames as well. I mean, this is what we've seen in past events, is people come out for the Flames. They're the biggest entertainment property in the city, and we're really excited to have them across our mills.
Fans lined up all over the mall at various stations to get autographs from their favorite players.
I'm pretty pumped. That's most my favorite player. I'm gonna get it framed after, put on my wall. Yeah, it'll be pretty cool.
I've loved the Flames my whole life, and I went to a signing a couple years ago. I waited in line for hours, and this is my second time doing it, so excited to do it again.
I went to a center, go get some Timmy's, and Calgary's lineup is already crazier than this one.
The Flames have just 26 games left in the regular season. They're well back in the playoff race, and with the trade deadline looming, they know there could be big changes heading into the March 6th trade deadline. Tara, the Flames road trip starts in San Jose on Thursday night and then continues on the weekend with games in Los Angeles and Anaheim. Let's just hope that their wrists aren't too sore from all of those autographs.
No
you know
kidding.
what I mean?
Those are some pretty long lines down there. Thank you, Glenn. If you've ever been around Crossiron Mill on Boxing Day, I bet that's what the traffic is like tonight. All those cars trying to get in and out of there.
Yep, or worse, or even worse than that, because then now people are also carrying hockey equipment.
That's right.
Okay, it's going to warm up for the next few days. So, there you go. 2 degrees is our high for tomorrow. Still cold in the morning, though. 7 for Wednesday, 8 for Thursday. Thursday night, a system blows in, and that will blow in about 3 to 5 centimeters of snow Thursday night, and another 5 to 10 is possible on Friday. This is preliminary. This is a bit of a ways away. Some models don't even go out that far, so I'll keep you posted on that. But also colder, -7 as our high for Friday, minus double digits for Saturday. Look how cute this is. Weather Window brought to you by Lux Windows and Doors, crafting quality windows and doors for your style, budget, and Alberta's climate. And Randy Tadoy sent this in from Lethbridge. How amazing is this photo?
That's a great
shot. This is what he saw at the park today.
That is great. Thanks for your company tonight. Have a great evening. We'll see you again tomorrow.